Welcome to Let's Talk About It with Xavier Fox. I'm Xavier Fox, the First Lady of Talk on the Astute Gentleman Radio Network. Get ready for in depth conversations about dating and relationships, health and fitness, and getting our money right with investing info. We have other great shows such as Laying Down the Law with Chicago criminal defense attorney April Prayer, the popular show Girl Talk, and we have the guys with Barbershop Talk. And don't miss the opportunity to get to know my special guest with me. Let's Talk About It with Xavier Fox is known for its energetic and knowledgeable co-host and intriguing, intense, and often controversial conversations. I'm here on Monday mornings from 7 to 9 a.m. and on Thursdays and Fridays from 12 to 2. Tune in for this journey and be ready to laugh and open to learn. If you would like to be a guest on the show, participate in a conversation, or advertise on the show, give me a call at 401 702 GENT. That's GENT. 401 702 GENT. Today is all new relationship reflections with Khalid Scott, and we're exploring the psychology of an affair. And this is part two. If you missed part one, be sure and check it out on my website, Xavier Fox. Then is Laying Down the Law with Chicago defense attorney April Prayer. She's going to share her experience at her recent event this past weekend. And we also have a special guest. She'll also have a special guest, Miss Luana Johnson, a homeless service director. And again, if you want to participate on the show today, you can call in. Call in at 401 702 GENT, GENT, 401 702 GENT. All right, so let's get to it because this hour flies by and I don't want to waste a second. Hey, Khalid.
Hey, Miss X, how you doing today?
I am great. It's nice and hot. I'm going to a pool party tomorrow in the Shy, and life is great. Yes. How you doing?
I'm doing really good, getting ready to celebrate this last weekend of the summer. Because,
Yes.
come Tuesday morning, it's on and popping. We back to fall,
Yeah, I know.
and back to work.
It might be snowing.
Oh, not ready for that. Not ready for that. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, the kids are back to school and we're wrapping up summer vacations and trips. So we got to go back to another type of mindset. You know what I'm saying? So, and in my practice, we're getting a lot of referrals. I just got off the phone. So people really want to go back into therapy come, in this season. So we're about to be real busy. So we better enjoy these next 3 days. Get it in. Get it in.
I plan to do exactly that. I'll be sitting in the pool, in the jacuzzi, sipping on something, and who knows what else.
Absolutely. 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 And then, you know what? I'm doing a lot of speaking engagements because I guess now I'm being seen as this relationship guru,
Yes.
I'm X. And it's only because I pay attention. I pay attention, and it's only because too people let me know what's going out here in the dating world, in the marriage world, and the commitment world, and it's a lot going on that we really need to sit back and analyze, and that's why today's show, is just a snippet of a relationship that we need to start paying attention to because I'm telling you that infidelity devil, he or she is real busy. That is real busy, and we gotta stop it. We gotta stop it, and it's individualized, X, and that's why I preach a lot about it, and I make people uncomfortable about the subject matter because it's destroying us. It's destroying us.
Isn't
And
this
I
the
want us
time
to
when
have better lives.
isn't this the time when everybody's auditioning for cuddle buddies now?
Oh, yes. Yes, ma'am.
And the
Yes,
cuddle buddy
ma'am.
could be your husband, wife, girlfriend, or boyfriend, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's get into the psychology of an affair.
Woo.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So folks, take your pens and paper out and let's go ahead and have this dialogue. So X, it's funny. right after me and you had talked about what we're going to have, what the topic was going to be today, because we had a wonderful show last month, right?
Always, always. Yes.
And one of my buddies, now let me give you a backstory. I'm divorced and I live by myself in the suburb. And what happens is I have gotten my home space because it's been years since you've been there. X, you got to come back one day.
I am
But
going
my
to.
home is very, I think, inviting to people.
Okay.
So like when friends come over, we sit in my living room, and I got candles burning. I
Mm.
got the jazz music in the back. I make you take your shoes off at the front door because I
Mm.
used to be a Muslim when I was a child,
You set the
and
you set the mood.
I set the mood for both my male and female friends because I want people to be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? When
Hmm.
they enter my space. And as a therapist, you want your clients to be comfortable because you want them to be transparent, and you're transparent when you're comfortable,
Mm.
right?
Yes.
So about a month ago, a buddy of mine came over, and my buddy is almost 60 years old.
Okay.
And he came and sat with me, and he was like, like, hey, Khalid, I'm only gonna be here a little while. Let's break some bread and catch up with each other. Well, my buddy ended up staying with me for about to like after midnight.
Okay.
Okay, and he came over around 6 o'clock.
Okay.
So it was a 6 hour interaction slash Harold's chicken dinner.
Okay.
Because men get a lot out when they eat some Harold's. If you didn't know the secret. You know.
I know the secret. Harold.
right. And when my brother got ready to leave, X, I could write a book about that 6 hour interaction.
Mm.
I could write a book. And in that session, and I'm calling the session, but in that get together, my buddy, who's been married well over 30 years, was like, Khalid, the majority of the years I've been married, I've cheated on my wife. I've cheated on my wife. And I sat back and I was like, brother, tell me this. Why? Why? Your wife appears to be very supportive, very loving, very, very in tune with you. This is just from my observation. And you seem to really care and love her, you know? And what my buddy said was Khalid, I did it, or I did it because I could.
Mm.
Because I could. And I said, well, take me. Let's break this down. Let's break this down because I want to know the mind of an adulterer. And
Mm.
so he started laughing. He like, oh, here we go. But I said, but it's real talk, brother. And I mean, for you to have done it for over 30 years, you
Wow.
know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And this friend was like, Khalid, I've gotten 5 other women pregnant
What?
and had 5 abortions.
Oh my God.
And he disclosed some other things to me that just shocked my entire soul, you know? And I was like, wow, man. Well, brother, let me ask you, do you love your wife? Because to go to those extremes, it just doesn't feel like that's love.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because how do you treat the person who you have grew up with, basically, who
Mm.
you have children with, who you have a home with, who you are invested in? How do you do them like that? And have you been caught? And he said, well, Khalid, I had close calls. You know what I'm saying? But I think I was able to play it off. And I said, brother, let me tell you something. And I'm a man who's close to women. women always know. They
Yeah.
always know. They choose to handle it differently, but they always know, brother, because we tend to be sloppy. And he owned up. He's like, well, Khalid, yeah, it was sometimes I was very sloppy. You know, I got with a co-worker and her husband found out, you know, and Khalid, you know, I did, you know, such and such with one of my kids' teachers.
What?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And he messing around in the circle. I mean, you can't even go outside the circle where people don't have to interact with her at any point. If she go to the job's Christmas party, she might the coworker. You know, you just hate it when the chick is around you and she knows something you don't know about your man.
Absolutely. Well, see, that's where we go into the psychology. So, what would make a rational thinking man who says and confesses that I love my wife do these things? Well, the thing is, as we came towards the wrapping up at the end of the night, you know, it became very clear and understand that a lot of my friends who come over and disclose, they all have a similar thread that my wife basically gave me permission to cheat.
How?
And how she gave me permission to cheat is she forgave me the first time I did it. So folks would say, well, damn, what are you supposed to do? You're in a marriage. Your mate steps out. You forgive, you don't forget, but you try to move on. And that's rational thinking, right? But you got to remember the psychology of people that once you get away with something, right? And you do that, woo, woo, that moment where you wipe your brow and like, oh my God, thank you, God, I can breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens is arrogance starts brewing.
Mm.
And in that arrogance, it says, well, if I did that and they forgave me, well, I could do it again. But this time, I'm going to learn what I did wrong and I'm going to do better.
Mm-mm-mm.
But what in turn happens is men have an arrogance where we become more sloppy. And that's the word I just throw out. It's sloppy because somebody, and this is where we say women tend to be very neat and clean with infidelity. And I've said this before, a man will get naked pictures in his cell phone. He will look at the pictures at work, and instead of deleting them, he'll leave those pictures there, drive home, and he'll like, man, I wanna delete this picture, but man, this picture hot,
Oh Lord.
man. And then he'll come home, he'll set his cell phone down, go and take a shower, and then of course y'all women are Nancy Drews, y'all female Sherlock Holmes. Women are detectives, born and bred. You all do the best detective work that I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is because men are so simplistic, if you want to use that word, our password to our phone is what? Our wife's birthday or our kid's birthday.
Oh wow. Okay.
The password to my telephone is Anaya's birthday. Men, we're simple thinking, right? So
Okay.
the wife picks up the phone, dials in the little kids 0215, and that unlocks the phone. Wives go right into the phone, the picture section, and boom, there go the naked picture.
Wow.
I even had a girl buddy teach me that, Khalid, when you delete the picture, you got to go into the deleted items and then delete that picture
Wow.
because it goes to a deleted item section. Then you got to delete it from there. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And think about like mistresses who end up calling the wives. they go through the man's cell phone and find out the wife's cell number.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think, as a married man or in a committed relationship, I'm not going to let one know the other. But we're sloppy. We're sloppy.
Can
You
I ask
know?
a question?
Yes, ma'am.
So here's my thing. Like you said, his wife is all of that and stuff, and he did it because he could. I understand, you need two to tango. So the women out here are ready, willing, and able. But so doing it, I can go out there and hop inside of a trash can. I can do
Yes.
that, but I don't
Yes.
want to do that.
Correct.
So what makes them, is it really just a different female body, a different coochie? I mean, in that one movie it said there's nothing better than coochie than new coochie. So I mean,
Yes.
is it that whole thing? What is it that just they can't say no to?
You know when you take a test and it has the answer choices A, B, C, and D, and E is all the above?
Mm-hmm.
It's E, all the above. All the above. Opportunity, frustration, stress, because I can do it, because she's prettier, because she's uglier. You know what I'm saying? Because she makes me feel good, right? So with men, it can be very baseline. See, I think a lot of women think that it had to be a build up, and he had to really wine and dine, and he really had to know. You can get a hookup on your cell phone in 10 minutes.
Wow.
It's just that simple. If you go to, I told you about the friend of mine who's on 5 different dating sites, and he literally picks up women who live in other states, and they fly him out to meet with them on a
They
weekend.
fly him out.
They fly him out, so he'll go down to Atlanta, Kentucky, downstate Illinois, Ohio, and on their dime, because he's an ex-football player, so he got that look. And when I asked him, like, man, why women out of town? Why not a woman here in Chicago? Brother, because I don't want no knock at the door at midnight.
Uh-huh.
See, now that's his reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's his reasoning. So different men have different reasons why. I like watching this comedy skit called Country Wayne, right? I don't know if you ever heard of him before.
I've heard that
Well,
name.
he does these 4-minute comedy skits on YouTube and Facebook, and it's like a soap opera style, right? Now, Country Wayne, the actual comedian, he has 10 kids by 6 women.
Good Lord.
So he's that dude. He's that dude. And what happens is he's a rich and up and coming comedian. So on these skits, he dates all these different women, one after the other. And while he's dating somebody, we think he's serious about this woman, but then he'll start messing with another woman, right? And the woman that he's seriously with, she is beautiful. She is a brainiac. She is built well. She hits all the check boxes. But then he'll go and mess with somebody else. And then the justification is, I don't told you, I'm in these streets.
Mm.
And what happens is he has a formula because he knows women look at men as projects.
Mm.
See, that's a player's number one gift. Once you think of me as a project, that means I'm going to keep challenging you
Mm.
because you're going to work hard to try to make me better. And
Mm.
then I'll end up resenting you for it because
Oh.
I want you to accept me for who I am. But I'm going to also play on one, you want a man, and number two, you think you're trying to fix me for you, but really what you're doing, I'm placating you because I got another woman already.
Mm.
And so all the women in the skit, they're always trying to fix Wayne,
Mm,
right? And
mm,
then he'll find something very minuscule to complain about, and then he's on to the next woman.
mm,
But then he's a nice guy, and
mhm,
then he's rich, and then
mm,
he's attractive looking. So he plays all of his elements to his advantage.
mm.
And then the women who are on the thread when we're giving commentary, you would not believe how they defend him.
Mm.
So us men are going there like, ladies, do y'all see how players move? And they was like, I don't care that he got 10 kids by 6 women. I mean, he taking care of his kids.
But
That just makes me hot.
mm.
So you got to know, us men, remember, we pay attention. So if you're a man and you are, say if you're a good dude, a good guy, you watching these comedy skits, and you know comedy is always based off of reality.
Right.
You watching this dude, how he plays women, and then you read the women's comments on the thread and how they defend him
Mm,
and how they talk about the other women.
mm, mm.
So it's not like they're like, Wayne, why are you doing Amber like that? Wayne, you need to dump us, stupid ASS, and get with such and such. So they'll be saying, get with the mistress,
Mm, mm.
you know, or the side chick. So us men are learning, wait a minute. Women don't want that dude. They don't want the good guy. They don't want the stable guy. They don't want the guy that's pushing up roses and trying to be right. They want the dude that keeps them on edge all the time. They want the dude that you're up at 2 o'clock in the morning waiting for him to come in while you're on the phone with Tamika saying, Tamika, why is he doing me like this? Unknown to you, he just left Tamika's house.
Oh Lord.
Because what I'm learning about men too, now we're starting to date familiar. Now, what that means is, X, if I'm in a relationship with you, right? And say you got a best girlfriend. And what happens is you unconsciously, you start talking to me about Tamika. You be telling me how Tamika moves, right? And the bad relationship she's gotten, right? Guess what you just fed me?
The information to go get
The
it.
information for me to go and flirt with Tamika. Because on the opposite end, you all told Tamika how much of a good dude I am.
Mm.
So you, the common denominator, have fed both of us information without even thinking about it.
Mm.
I'm your man, so of course you're telling me about what your girlfriend is going through. I'm your best friend. Of course you're telling me how Khalid is making me feel. But you fed both of them at the same time. So now I can go and get with Tamika. What's up, Tamika? Hey, sweetie, I ain't ain't that I'm trying to be in your business, but you know, X told me what Daryl did to you, babe. I'm really sorry for that. Come here, hug me. You know, what's up? Now, think about it, X. Tamika ain't gonna be inclined of opening her mouth because why? She loves you,
Mhm.
but she getting her needs met by me.
Mm.
So that's a new trend that I'm starting to see
Really?
with my clients.
Wow.
They're sleeping with familiar women.
That's
So
the
like I told you, my granddaddy had 5 kids outside the marriage. 3 of the women knew my grandmother.
mm.
So to be honest, it's not a new phenomenon. And again, remember, us men are kind of lazy. So I don't really want to go out there and go to Rockford and find somebody. I don't want to go to Milwaukee and find nobody. I kind of want somebody down the street.
Mm.
Because if I get caught anyway, my wife is going to forgive me.
Mhm. Mhm. Because that's what, we're told if you're in a marriage,
Yep.
everybody's gonna make mistakes, and
Yep.
you have to learn forgiveness and work on your marriage, and don't throw it all away. And a lot of women, depending on the lifestyle that they live, like if they're married to a man that's a good provider and together, they've built, you know, kind of like with my son-in-law is not cheating because my daughter would be in jail if he was. So he, but
Right.
they just had the nice big house built and stuff, and so together they've built a lot
Yeah.
of stuff. So that lifestyle, when you get that lifestyle, people tell you, well, you don't want to give up your comfort zone, your just
Absolutely.
because he put his penis in another coochie.
Absolutely. 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 And that's it. And us men will play on that. We'll play on that. Last weekend I did another podcast, and it was called "Cheating Men and the Women Who Love Them."
I saw
So
that.
what? Right. So what I end up doing is I interviewed four of my female friends who have been cheated on. Right. And I asked them at least in my head, thought-provoking questions to include why stay? Why stay? Especially if he's thrown it in your face, sis.
Oh Lord.
Especially if he thrown your face. So one of my friends, her husband is a police officer. And I have a lot of those. And my friend has has found the condoms.
Mm,
She's overheard conversations.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? I remember I listen, I was at a on my Facebook page, right? I do that thing called Sister of the Week every Sunday, right?
Yep.
So I'm at a party about a couple of weeks. Because I post a Sister of the Week every Sunday. Well, I'm at a party. One of my friends comes up to me and she was like, Khalid, you made such and such your Sister of the Week. I'm like, yeah, that's my girl. And she was like, well, I work with her husband and I'm sleeping with him.
Oh,
Yes,
so she just
yes,
wants to come and say that, huh?
yes,
But she doesn't
yes.
think that made her look like something. Like, where's your character? You sleeping with somebody's husband? Hello.
Okay. Okay, okay. Now I'm shocked because I hear what you're saying, X. But remember, people are bold now. And remember, when you're the mistress, you get this mindset that, you know what? I ain't the one cheating. I'm on the outside. I ain't got no papers on me. So
Mm,
what he do or don't do for his ain't got nothing to do with me.
wow. Okay. I guess I
So
feel through it.
and then she had the nerve to say, well, Khalid, I want to be the Sister of the Week. I'm like, wow, wow, wow. And then I said, so then I'm like, well, since you brought it to me, and of course I'm not going to say nothing because what happened was my friend who husband, who this situation, she already told me she's not leaving them.
Mm.
She was like, Khalid, that pension is half mine.
What?
I've been married. When you married to
Oh,
a police
the
officer
marriage.
over
Okay.
10 years,
Okay, yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Half his pension is yours
Hmm.
as the wife.
Hmm.
And so she already told me she wasn't gonna leave. So if I wouldn't have dared to went back and like, hey, such and such, let me tell you, I was at a party and da da da. But I took that opportunity to talk to my other friend and like, why are you doing this?
Yes.
Khalid, because he said he can't stand her.
What?
But see, that's called pillow talk. Pillow talk is real strong, Xavier. And for the audience members who really don't know what pillow talk is, it's that a man finds an opportunity when you're most vulnerable. And one of those opportunities is after he just got through making love to you and he's laying in the bed with you and you're cuddling. So you real open as a woman, aren't you? In that moment, aren't you?
Yep.
And so he in your ear, babe, man, my wife don't make me feel like you do. She don't move me like you do. I can't stand being with her, but I got the kids, the house. And man, if I walk away, I got to go back to mom's basement. You know what I'm saying? And I can't do that, babe. But babe, you know what? When I'm with you, I'm with you. So let's be cool about that, okay?
Mm-mm.
And when you're a woman and you like, I need some piece of a man, okay, that makes sense to me. When he's with me, he's with me. I ain't gonna think about when he's with the wife. I just gotta worry about my time with him. So pillow talk is powerful, and us men know it.
Mm, mm, mm.
So again, you got to think about the mind of a man, and you got to think about a mind of an adulterer man. Just like you got to know the mind of a woman who cheats, you know. And it used to be a time, even for somebody like me, a clinician. I'm like, well, women don't do it. No, women do it, but women do it primarily. That we've noticed that it's like I'm not getting my needs met and the opportunity is here, but at least I'm not going to be sloppy about it, right? So a woman, I send a package picture to a woman who's married, she gonna look at the picture. Oh God, then she gonna hit delete.
Uh-huh.
She gonna hit delete because she know he can send me a picture anytime, but I cannot take a chance my husband seeing that picture.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so the women are gonna be discreet because they feel like I got more to lose. Plus, let me tell you this: that friend that came over and spent 6 hours with me,
Mm-hmm.
about 11:30 at night, because remember he didn't leave till around midnight. I asked him one simple question. I said, brother, let me ask you this. Out of the 30 something years y'all been married, you said primarily for most of those years. So they've been married 36 years. He's cheated 34 of the years, right?
Good Lord.
Yes. Yes. So what happens is this. I said, what if one of those times your wife did find out and say she at work and then Daryl sitting there and Daryl is just a dude that pays attention. He's a dude they go on lunch together. And then in one of her weak moments, her and Daryl end up kicking it. This is what my friend said to me. Ready? He said, if the BITH did do it and I found out, I would divorce her without blinking an eye.
No, and I don't
I,
understand that.
I, I, I ask every one of my friends who's cheated, when I've asked them that question, that what if your wife did it? The response is consistent. I would leave her without a minute of thinking about it.
Because he
And
got
let me explain why. Let me tell you the psychology why. What happens is this. As a adulterer man, I know what it took to get that woman to lay down with me. I had to make her laugh. I had to pay attention to what she was saying to me. I had to make her think that I was invested in her, even though I really wasn't. I had to wine and dine a little bit. And then after I did all that, now I'm in between her legs. So I accomplished the mission. Now, if I know it took me to do that to these women, my wife is a woman. So that dude who she slept with, he had to make love to her mind first. He had to make love to her mind first in order to get her in the bed. So the husband, even though he's an adulterer, he's thinking, that dude took my wife out. He gave her roses. He made her laugh. He complimented her. He rubbed on her. He did all the things I do with the side pieces. And he got my wife to betray me and go to bed with him. And then he was inside of her body. And his juices are all in my wife. So how in the hell can I stay with her after that?
Wow.
That's the psychology of a man when it comes to women cheating. And I think you all know that. That's why you're so good at hiding when you commit adultery. So every one of my friends has said that. They didn't say nothing about, well, we're going to go to counseling, Khalid, and work it out. And that may be the case. But their initial response, I'm out. And she a bitch for doing it. So then I'm like, when my boy said it, I'm like, why did you just, I mean, he rose up when he said it. It wasn't like he was laid back like, man, I wish a bitch would. I mean, he sat up straight, X, and he professed it. Like we was doing a Martin and Malcolm speech. You understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
And he said, I wish she would. And I was like, wow, wow. He said, dude, I know it's wrong. I know it's wrong, but I'm telling you my truth, bro. I'm telling you the truth, my dude. So then that's why I interviewed the ladies for why do the women and the women who love them. You know what I'm saying? And it just never ceases to amaze me, X, why we put ourselves through this. But again, why wouldn't we? The world again tells us something is off with you if you're not in a relationship.
You know what? I was just sitting here and I wrote down because I was trying to hold my question, and
Yes.
and it was right along this line. So I'm gonna ask my question now. So
Yes.
we got the divorce rate, right? So we already
Yes.
know that over half of marriages end in divorce anyway.
Yes.
We got men having kids outside of marriages,
Yes.
saying your friend in particular, but we got, he had somebody pregnant 5 times. They just didn't have
Yes.
a baby, you know,
5 different women. Five
five
different women.
different women, right?
Five
You
different
got
women.
a man married for 36 years is cheating for 34 of them years. And he ain't the only one. He just the one that we know about right this moment. And you probably know
Absolutely.
about even more than that. So,
Absolutely.
so we got
Absolutely.
all this going on. Yet, if a woman is single, society says something wrong with her. Like, why would you
Uh-huh.
want to get into that shit? I mean, I'm just saying. Why would you want to get into that? Because just like you just said, the guy gonna show up and he's like, okay, I know this about her, I see that about her, very calculated. And so he gonna wine and dine you, and he might actually want to make you the main one. But if you with him for 36 years and he done cheated for 34, that I don't feel like I'm the main one. I'm the main one you making a fool of. That's what it is. Because everybody else know, and I don't know, or maybe I know, but I like the lifestyle. That's her choice, whatever. But I do not, and it's sad. I'm not against relationships, and I hope to be in a great one. But what I consider great, it's gonna move real slow because I'm gonna take time and hopefully find out who he is before I make any real commitment or whatever. But I just do not anymore really see a whole ton of benefit, especially since my kids are grown. I'm not trying to start a family and stuff. What is this benefit of relationships? And people don't know the meaning of loyalty or commitment anymore.
Right.
So what's the benefit of this
Absolutely.
thing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. X, the best way I can try to explain this is that if your great grandmama, great grandmother, grandmama, mama, aunties has shown you that this habit is okay, why wouldn't you go for it too? Why wouldn't you go for it too? You know, because we've normalized it, X. We've normalized this behavior. When it doesn't happen, it feels weird.
Mm.
And see, that's the thing. That's the thing. When you normalize dysfunction, then when good stuff come your way, you feel it's abnormal. Think about that. Think about that. If you're a woman and you're so used to a man smacking you every day, when you meet another man and he kisses you on the cheek, what's the first thing you're gonna think wrong with him? You know what I'm saying? Nigga, you soft. Excuse my language. You soft. Because I'm so used to being smacked on that cheek. I'm so used to being smacked on that cheek. So
Man,
I don't know how to receive good love. And nobody taught me what good love looks like. The only thing the world has taught me is I'm half of a person if I'm not in a relationship.
right, right.
I get it all the time as a divorced man. Khalid, you should be remarried. Khalid, Anaya needed to have a stepmama in the house with you because so she could see what love looks like. I'm like, says who? Says who? Show me where it's written. I mean, when you know X, I was known for always throwing that out. All men cheat.
Yep,
And you know my justification always was for prove me wrong and I'll stop making that statement.
yep.
No one ever proved me wrong. So again, we operate in dysfunction. We operate in trauma. We operate in chaos. And we have normalized it. X, let me give you a quick example. I had a baby cousin, right? Little girl. You know, Anaya's the only child.
Hmm.
So I would go and get my little cousin Catherine to come and hang with Anaya for the weekend every month, right?
Hmm.
And my little cousin Catherine lives on 75th in Terratown. So she's used to hearing gunfire and fighting and chaos all the time, right? Well, you know, I live in a quiet suburb, right?
Hmm.
So for 2 years, Catherine would come to my house one weekend a month to spend time with Anaya. And see, Catherine had 6 older brothers. So
Okay.
she's the only girl, and Anaya was the only child. So I'm like, let me keep them together so they could grow up like sister cousins, right?
Hmm.
One day, Catherine was in the bedroom crying. So I walked up in there and I'm like, hey, kitty cat, what's wrong, sweetie? Nothing, Uncle Ben. I'm like, sweetie, why are you crying? I want to go home. And I'm like, did Anaya do something to you? She was like, no, it's too quiet out here.
Oh Lord. Wow. It's too.
Catherine never spent another weekend in my house.
Wow. Wow.
I thought that was the most eye opening thing about how we are conditioned. Because my sweet baby is so conditioned to hearing violence and drama and trauma, coming out to a quiet suburban house felt alien to her.
It wasn't
And
enough.
you got to believe when she came out here, I bought her dresses. We ate. She had candy. Her and Anaya would be in there playing with dolls. You would think she would have loved it.
Hmm.
But she was used to what? Chaos.
Some people love that drama. They gotta have that drama.
Absolutely.
Yep. Gotta
Absolutely.
have that drama. They'll create
Absolutely.
drama if it none just occurs naturally. They're gonna create some. Yep.
Absolutely. And see, what happens is that goes with the psychology there. So the title of our show today just wasn't for it to be cute. There's a psychology to this. There's a mindset to this that if you're functioning in this manner, you have trained yourself to make this okay. Because if you ask a cheating man, man, you can lose everything. Why is it worth it? He will tell you, I'll take the risk.
Wow.
I'll take the risk because I like the way I feel.
If
Khalid,
we
I work
together.
hard every day. I take care of my wife. I take care of my kids. But I'm tired of going up in that house and hearing her nag at me, man.
Mm.
But when I go to Tamika house, Khalid, I smell the fried chicken when I'm walking up the stairs. Khalid, she got some house shoes at the front door waiting for me. Khalid, she cute all the time. She wear makeup. I can't get my wife to put on some lipstick for me. And Khalid, one of my friends, I remember telling me, he said, Khalid, I ejaculated 4 times in my mistress in one setting. I just kept making love to her back to back to back to back because it just felt good to lay down with a woman that made me feel good.
Wow. That would crush his wife.
Of course it would. Of course it would. But this is what men, that's why we got to start listening to when men open up, sometimes people need to shut up and listen, X.
Mm-hmm.
And see, X, you used to being around dudes. So you know how to interact with us. You know how to navigate dudes. But most women don't have that. They overtalk men. They don't listen to us. They rather hear their girlfriend's version of what men do. But when a man sit down and open up to you, and that means he trusts you, one. And number two, when he's being transparent, that means he's trying to get that out of his soul. So the reason why those 6 hours went by so quick with my buddy, I could tell he wanted to release that X. And I was the safe person to release it too. Because what I want your listeners to understand, I'm not judging.
Mm-hmm.
Because the reality is, get this, ready, X? He's married. I'm the one who's divorced.
Mm-hmm.
The cheating men stay married. The good dudes get divorced.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That can't be true. That can't be
true. Okay.
But I know he's been married for 36 years. So.
There we go, sis. I even asked him, what if one of your daughter's husband cheated on her? How would you handle that? Khalid, what could I say? I would just say, hey, daughter, you need to do counseling or you got to go and see a divorce attorney. And I said, but wouldn't it break? He said, of course, Khalid, but look what I'm doing. What can I say? And so that's what I'm saying. So again, it's an influx. If you go on Tubi right now, the TV station, every damn movie, every Black movie is about dysfunctional relationships.
It is. It is. I was noticing that. I was on there last night and I'm flipping through. I'm like, I don't want to see that. You know, I don't like to put energies in my space. I'm like, I don't want to see. I don't want to see. Everything is cheating or drugs or fighting.
Right.
Otherwise,
here, do this, X. Name me a romantic Black movie where it's just about the romance, the love of.
Basketball? I don't know. Let's see.
But think about the drama with that. There was infidelity in that. You know what I'm saying?
What about Jason's
what I'm
lyric?
saying, and I get it. People want to say, hey, we was here and we got to there. But wouldn't it be nice just to see a movie about two functional people who just loving each other?
It would be.
That movie wouldn't have one viewer watching, and you know that.
It's got to be some drama.
Right. Tyler Perry defends his shows all the time by saying what? This is what my audience wants.
That's true.
He says it every interview when somebody brings up and criticizes his TV shows or movie. I only give my audience what they want. And how they reward me, my movie becomes #1 that week.
And he's a multimillionaire.
Billionaire now, sweetie. Billionaire. So that's what I'm saying. We're so used to dysfunction. And it's generational. It's generational, X. So for me, I want Anaya. I want my kid to start a new trend. You know what I'm saying? And I hope the guy that she gets with, he wants to start a new trend where they love each other and love on each other only. But will that be the case? I don't know, X.
I saw you posted that question before, and for one, daddy's girls sometimes
Yeah.
have it a little harder out here in the
Yes.
dating world simply because we do get that father's input, especially if you really are a daddy's girl and your father
Yes.
talks to you, real about some stuff because you're gonna see through some stuff. You
Correct.
don't fall for everything because your father probably done told you, listen, if the sitting start off like this, he about to tell
Correct.
you a lie.
Correct.
So you
So
are
it puts you at a disadvantage,
so
right?
it puts you at an advantage. So it's like they say, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Absolutely.
And so when I look at
Absolutely.
Anaya, because when you asked that question, I thought about it, and I'm like, she's beautiful, she's smart, and she grew up with a father who's a freaking psychologist. You know, and so
Right.
I just I would you would think Anaya would have a pick of whatever, but the thing about
Mm-mm.
it is whatever that's out there half the time ain't worth picking.
Absolutely.
And that's the problem. Not that you
Absolutely.
don't have options, it's just that the options are not worth choosing sometimes.
Correct.
And that's the
I,
same thing with the
right.
question that I asked you about, why is it that everybody looks down on a woman who's not in a relationship when we just had this discussion about the psychology of an affair and you got husbands who have been married for 36 years and been cheating for 34. Why would you want to be in that? Why would you want to be in a situation where you married and your husband is continually having kids outside the marriage? Why would you want to be in that? I think women who are single are probably the smarter ones.
The law won't allow us to praise y'all.
And,
Oh,
and
ma'am.
studies show that we're happier.
Yes.
Studies show that we're happier.
Yes. But go. We'll call our buddy Augustus to do a question because he gets good feedback, right?
Oh yeah.
And you go and say married women versus single women. Watch how those married women will double down like, y'all just mad because y'all lonely.
I ain't lonely.
Even though she might be getting cheated on.
Right. But because
She'll talk down to a single woman like crazy.
just because she has a physical body laying next to her.
Absolutely, sis. Absolutely.
The real man is actually gone, but you got the physical body, so you think you have something over a single woman.
Absolutely. 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 So now
probably a single woman.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, I don't ever want to start something without giving real solutions,
Yes.
real strategies on how we work on this.
Okay.
So number one, if I'm sitting down with the husband and he's a habitual adulterer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've learned long ago, don't do the questions or make the statements to try to make them feel guilty. Because what happens is when you are a cheater, you've learned how to filter out those questions, right? You learn not to pay attention. So if somebody says, well, dude, you got a daughter, would you want somebody to do your daughter like that? See, adulterers, that don't faze them no more.
Mm.
You could have used that at first, but I went past that in my head, right? So if I'm sitting down doing a counseling session with an adulterer man, I'm saying this. Tell me, take a pen and paper, sir, and I want you to draw a line right in the middle. I want you to write pros and cons. Mm-hmm. Now, I want you to write all the pros that infidelity has gotten you. Mm. And then I want you to write all the cons that infidelity has gotten you. Now, I'm arrogant enough, confident enough, boisterous enough to know the con list is going to be longer. And that's where I start at. Okay. Don't ever do anything that ain't for you, that benefits you. Only do things, only practice things that give you dividends at the end of the day.
Right.
Because having a sidekick, having a mistress, even though you're in the moment, you know you pay a cost later. That married man who was with my mother, he had to pay rent for 16 years. He had to pay out rent 16 years of his life to be with my mother, who was his mistress. So he lost income, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then his kids, from what I gathered, his kids were all over the place. So while you at home, while you at my mama's house, your kids were spiraling out of control.
Mm.
Then for my mom, when Mr. Lee died, my mama wasn't in the wheel.
Right.
She went to the funeral, but she had to sit in the back. So, what benefits, what real substantial benefits do you get for being out here like that? They're at a minimum. So, why get the minimum? Go for the maximum. Make it work with your wife. Focus in on her. And for wives, if your husband is saying, babe, come on, work out with me, go to LA Fitness with me, get your tail up and go to the gym. Because as somebody who goes to LA Fitness every other day, the women waiting for him. The women waiting for him.
It's plenty of them there, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And remember, we looking at them like, man, they in here doing their thing.
Yep.
They up in here on the treadmill, they lifting the little weights.
Yep.
That impresses us men.
Mm-hmm.
So if your husband like, babe, come on, we both need to work out. Go on, get your little cute bag and go to the gym with your husband. Because that's quality time with him.
Yep.
Y'all working on goals together. So see, these are the strategies. You know what I'm saying? I tell husbands, if your wife is trying to make amends for mistakes you made, go with it. Wives, if your husband's trying to make amends for something that he did wrong, go with it. Because people will make amends when they're feeling the heightness of their guilt. I want to make it right that I did wrong by you. So utilize it. Utilize it. And I don't mean make them feel guilty, but what I'm saying is, if they're going to, because a lot of men would be like, I don't care. I don't care. Whatever. But if somebody's trying to make it right, and I mean legitimately trying to make it right, go with it. I love that when I get these phone calls from the wives who want to do marriage therapy, and when I talk to their husbands, they like, Mr. Scott, oh my God, I really don't want to do this, but I want to save my marriage. I love those husbands because they're trying. They're trying. And nothing beats a failure but a try. And then again, folks of us out here, us single people or married people, when somebody married coming at you, you know what I'm saying? Look at it as an insult.
That's how I look at it.
Look at it as an insult. It ain't cute that a married man trying to hit up on you, because what he's telling you is what? That you're second. That I'm trying to get my needs met than my wife. It ain't about your needs. I'm trying to get my needs met because my wife ain't doing it. So he's really insulting you as a woman.
I feel like it's insult for sure.
Absolutely it is. But see, that's a shift in mindset, X. We got to change our mindset. We let Olivia Pope tell us that it's the end thing to sleep with married men.
My dad always told me that messing with married men was a waste of time, because what can they really give you?
Absolutely. And your dad is right. And your dad is absolutely right.
And he told me that enough where that stuck in that is one thing I have never done, was mess with a married man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And X is 1 o'clock.
It is. And I knew that this would go fast because your show always goes fast. I get all caught up in the discussion and
absolutely.
I'm like, dang, we going over. And April's already in the queue.
That's it. That's it.
That's what we do every month. So when is your next show?
Okay, my next show is October 7th Um, the title is to be announced. Let me think on it. I want something juicy for October.
Ooh, it's always juicy though, Khalid.
Always juicy, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You get the highest of listeners, period.
Good,
Only show
good.
rivaling
And
yours
that's a
now is
good
Girl
thing because
Talk.
if they listen it, that means they're gonna grow. And
Yes,
that's what I hope.
yes. Okay, so this was a great show as usual. You got any final words before we sign off?
Guys, let's practice self-love every day, all day. Because when you have an absolute love affair with yourself, you will not tolerate garbage.
That's good
You will
stuff.
not tolerate garbage when you're in love with yourself. You don't want to eat your meals off a garbage lid.
So don't.